We have now addressed the basic elements of the communication cycle, as well as tips and strategies for successful communication. In this next section, we will be discussing some specific ways to communicate on a continuing basis in a daycare setting. The first step in establishing successful ongoing communications is to establish a strong working relationship. All good relationships take time and effort, so work on this should begin on day one. As the daycare professional, you should take the initiative on this. Build a strong rapport with your parents and guardians, and you will be rewarded in the end. One way to begin building this relationship is to use drop-off and pick-up times to learn about the child and his or her family. These exchanges are usually brief and informal, but they can be invaluable. This, admittedly, can be hard to do at times. Another child might need your help when a parent or guardian drops off or picks up their youngster. Some other event or happening may need your attention, but if you make a conscious effort, you will find valuable time every week, if not every day, to build a relationship with every parent or guardian who drops off or picks up their child. Many child care and preschool facilities have begun using a written form of daily communication with parents, the Daily Report. This written form contains information like pickup and drop-off times, the name of the person picking up and dropping off the child's disposition for the day, details on nutrition, a highlight of the activities and events for the day, details regarding nap time, special achievements and positive feedback, concerns about behavioral issues, and reminders for parents to bring any supplies the child is missing. Each day, child care professionals fill out the forms, and when the child is picked up, a copy of the form is sent home to the parents. The main disadvantage to using these forms is the time it takes to fill them out. For the forms to be successfully used, the information needs to be recorded on them at various times throughout the day. Also, they need to be filled out each day for every child in attendance. Another disadvantage of the daily report is the paperwork it generates. Ideally, a copy should be sent home with the parents, and a copy should be kept on file at the daycare facility. A daily report for each child and for each day he or she is present at the facility could result in a massive amount of paperwork. Finally, some would say that another disadvantage to this approach is its cold impersonality. It's a form, a standardized form, and children aren't forms. No form can possibly cover all of the areas of needed communication for every child. There are many advantages to the daily report, however. First and foremost, if daily reports are used properly, they can be a very effective way to communicate basic information with parents and guardians. The reality is, however, that a form, no matter how effective, only communicates information in one direction, and it should not be the only way we communicate. If the daily form is used to open lines of communication and is then combined with other, more personal forms of communication, such as phone calls and face-to-face conversations, then the relationship between child care professionals and parents or guardians can become very deep and meaningful. In addition, the reports can serve as a daily record of each child's progress at your facility. This serves three purposes. First, copies of these reports can serve as the basis of your record of the contacts you've had with the parents or guardians. As I mentioned earlier, keeping track of parental contact will help you build relationships with each of them. Second, many states now require child care facilities to fill out forms periodically throughout the year, showing the developmental growth of each child in their care. These daily reports can be designed to collect information that can be then used to assist you in filling out these forms, making the process easier. Finally, if you review the daily reports on a regular basis, sometimes you will notice trends in the data. For instance, you may notice that when Johnny is dropped off at 7 a.m., he has a positive attitude, but when he is dropped off at 7:30 a.m., Johnny tends to be grumpy. This information doesn't help you solve the problem, but it does point it out. You can then use other forms of communication to work with Johnny's parents and deal with the issue. Some facilities also use monthly newsletters to communicate with parents. A newsletter can help you share information about the activities and projects you've done with the children, as well as let them know about anything specific you have planned for the future. This method doesn't share specific information about each child, and it can't be used to gather data or keep track of parental contacts. However, it does communicate general information about what you are doing in your classroom quite effectively. You can even make it more personal by mentioning in the newsletter special accomplishments made by specific children in your classroom. Most parents love to see that sort of information in print. Just make sure that you keep a running list of the children you have mentioned, and make an effort to mention every child at some time throughout the year. In today's technological age, websites can serve the same purpose as newsletters, but can be updated more frequently than once a month. Photos of projects and various other types of graphics can be added to make the website more visual. Most facilities can't afford to include these types of artwork in their monthly newsletters, but with the internet, the cost is minimal. In addition, in today's economy, many businesses are looking to cut expenses, and websites eliminate the cost of printing while maintaining the quality of information being disseminated. Though, you should not assume that all parents will have easy access to the internet. Consequently, you may still want to have some printed versions available for those families. One word of advice: for security reasons, the names and faces of children should not be published on the internet. This, unfortunately, does eliminate the personal aspect for this form of communication. All of these methods of regular communication have been used effectively in daycare facilities for years. Just keep in mind all of the strategies we talked about in the last section. Things like using manners, choosing appropriate words, eliminating or defining jargon, and checking any writing for grammar and spelling errors. Then, you and your daycare facility can effectively use them as well.